What's up, guys? I'm Travis, and you're watching our upgraded SCX6 Trail Honcho build series. Come on! Come on! All right, guys, we're up to video number 8 now of this build series, and I'd like to update you on the last video we did. We went ahead and put overdrive gearing in the front and rear axles of this because I couldn't get the stock gearing from Vitavon at that time, so we went ahead and put a 1338 in the front and the rear. I'd like to tell you that the front wheel speed was awesome. That's exactly what I'm looking for, to be able to help rip and tear and get us up those steep hills. However, the rear wheels were turning at the same speed, which is faster than stock, and it wanted to tip over a little bit easier than stock, so I didn't really like that. I still could not get stock gearing from Vitavon, so I went ahead and ripped them out of our stock plastic axles, and I put the 1243 gearing in the rear. I still have the 1338 in the front. Now, to help keep the front end down a little bit on these steep hills, we're going to go ahead and add a brass front diff cover here. This is going to add, well, Vitavon says this is going to add 210 grams to the front axle. We're going to wait and find out. And guys, I also, from several videos ago, when we first put the first set of Vitavon diff covers on our stock plastic axles, I told you we were going to put these diff cover skid plates on there to protect the diff covers. Well, they fit the stock plastic axles like a glove. They do not fit the Vitavon axles at all. So I'm going to show you what I did. I went ahead and bent these up, and I got a couple extra parts, and we made them fit the Vitavon axles. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that. And this is going to be a really easy, quick video, guys. Stay tuned. I'm going to have all kinds of crawler footage after this because it's going to be such an easy upgrade today. I figured we'd spend a little bit of time on the trail. So we've already went ahead and taken off the previous Vitavon diff cover here. Now, I'm not going to show you guys how to do this because I showed you in the first 3 prior videos to this. But it is just 4 Allens. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 right here on the back side of the axle, and this comes right off. It's super simple. So if you have any questions or anything, go ahead and watch the last 3 videos I did, and you're going to see me do it 3 times. So here's our Vitavon brass diff cover. Let's go ahead and see if we get anything in this other than the diff cover here. It is pretty heavy, guys. I can feel it. Nope, it is just a diff cover. There's nothing else in the package. Let's go ahead and compare these here and see how close they actually are. It looks like that surface there is really close, dead nuts right on. Looks like everything is about the same height, guys. Back over here to our trusty scale, let's go ahead and see how much the Vitavon aluminum diff cover weighs with my 3 coats of paint. It looks like 38.6 grams. Okay, now earlier, guys, I was telling you that the Vitavon brass diff cover, they're claiming it weighs 210 grams. I don't know where I got that from. I was wrong. I just looked it up online, and it says that their brass diff cover weighs 113 grams. Let's see what it actually weighs. There you go, 112.5. I'd say that's pretty much right on to what they said. So what I'm going to do now, guys, is I'm going to go ahead and subtract the weight from our aluminum diff cover and go ahead and add the weight in from the brass diff cover to our ongoing total. All right, while we're right here by the scale, let's go ahead and weigh these diff cover skid plates. It looks like 24.2 grams for one. We are installing 2 of them, so we're looking at 48.4 grams. We'll be adding to our total. So with our brass diff cover being 112.5 grams, If you do the math, guys, a pound is 448 grams. So if you divide that by 4, guess what you get? You get 112 grams exactly. So this right here is basically adding a quarter pound to the front axle. That's the only place we're going to put it. And then we've got these skid plates here for the diff covers that weigh 24 grams. We'll go ahead and add that to both axles. This is going to give us just a little bit more. So it's not a whole bunch, guys, but that little bit of extra weight is going to help keep the front end down just a little bit better than it did before. Now, as far as putting these on, I said they did not fit the Vitavon axles. Well, they do if you do a little bit of work to them. I went ahead and took some pliers and I just bent these tabs, these ears here on the left and the right, in a little bit further until this notch right here lined up with that notch on the axle so that it would fit in there the way that it's supposed to. And then I bent these in here in the rear just a little bit, and I went ahead and added some nylon spacers that I got from my hardware store to take up the distance and give us that measurement between the mount on the back of the axle and these tabs. Let me get a little bit better look for you. I'll show you what I did. So after you get the ears or tabs on your skid plate bent end and it fits your axle really well, then you're going to need one of these nylon spacers right here. And I went ahead and cut it in half to get 2 pieces out of it. And they're about the right size. They don't have to be exact. But what you're going to do is you're going to put them right here in between the mounting tab and the back of the axle where your Allen goes in to take up that space. Now you may also need some little nylon washers. It just depends on how big you cut them and how much you need. I'm not going to give you a measurement on that because I do believe that every axle and every situation is probably going to be just a little bit different. So you'll just have to kind of experiment with that yourself. Now guys, I got these spacers from my local True Value hardware store. I went in and right where the nut and bolt section is, they've got a whole bunch of these. I just went ahead and wiped them out. I mean, I think I took every nylon spacer and washer they had. I use them for all kinds of stuff. I've used them to mount the shocks on my bomber. I use them for stuff around the house and whatever kind of projects I got going on. These were really handy, and it wasn't that much, guys. I think for this whole kit here, minus what I've already used, I think I probably got 25 bucks into that kit. So it's not that expensive, and it'll save you a lot of time when you're trying to make something work and you don't have the right spacer for it. Now, besides that, you'll notice I got 2 Allens right here. The smaller one is the stock Allen that comes in the Vitavon axle. That will not work because you're adding these spacers here, so you have to go with a longer Allen. Now, there's exactly 10 millimeters difference here. The stock Allen is 16 millimeters, and the Allen I'm using for this is 26 millimeters. You could probably get away with a 24 millimeter Allen. I bet it would work just fine. It all depends on what size spacers you have to cut out, how many shims you have to add, and all that good stuff. So it's just kind of trial and error, guys. Okay guys, I've already went ahead and added the brass diff cover to the axle, and I left the 2 bottom Allens off because those are the Allens that are going to hold on our skid plate. So here it is. This is the best way to hold these spacers on so you don't drop them down on the cover a million times like I did. Go ahead and put your Allens through the tabs and then push your nylon spacers, washers, whatever you're using onto the Allens, and that'll help you get it on there so you don't drop it so many times. Let me go ahead and get a better camera angle for you so you can see exactly how this is fitting up. So here's the finished product installed, guys. Now, right here you can see that notch, how it fits over this really, really well. That's important to keep this from moving back and forth. When you hit a rock on the front right here, it's going to want to push back. Unfortunately, these tabs where your Allens go through are not strong enough to keep it from bending. So that's why it's so important to bend these ears down and make sure you get that notch over this piece here. That'll keep it from moving. Now, I did install Loctite on all 4 of these Allens when I put them on. I also left the bottom ones a little bit loose until I got these in here where I wanted to, and then I tightened them all up evenly. And I think it's going to work out pretty good. I did also bend this tab out a little bit to accommodate this piece right here on the diff cover, so you're going to have to kind of shape this the way you want to get it to fit your axle exactly, guys. It's not going to be the same on each one, or I would give you exact measurements and you'd just be done with it. So it's going to take a little bit of time, but once you get it done, I think it's going to be worth it. So here's the back one, and you can see I did exactly the same thing with the ears to get that notch over this piece here so that it is nice and strong and not going to go anywhere. I did also go ahead and bend this down just a little bit. I'm kind of concerned about the rear, guys, because you're driving in this direction, so all the material and the rocks and everything are going to hit this. Hopefully they hit this and it deflects it away from these. Because of these square edges right here, I'm really hoping that doesn't catch the rocks and other sticks and stuff and just bind us up. So we'll see what happens. If this does catch, the first thing I'm going to do is try to take a little piece of aluminum or something and run it across these and underneath this so that it'll be a big deflector point instead of just this little one. But I'm really not sure how it's going to work out. And if that doesn't work, I'll just take these back off. But they are protecting our aluminum axles for sure. I think it's going to help out a lot. As long as we don't get bound up, I think it's a great upgrade. So after you get that all installed, go ahead and turn your tires back and forth to make sure that your tie rod here is not going to hit your diff cover or anything else. You may or may not need to adjust your end points if you do, but that's what the front looks like. Looks pretty good. Looks like it's going to protect the lower part of the diff cover and the bottom of the axle for sure, as long as it doesn't get hung up on anything. We'll find out. Let's check out the back here. Oh, there's that purple diff. I love that color, guys. It works out really good. It pretty much matches the tires. I mean, it's really close. Anyway, you can see more of the skid plate there for sure against the purple than the brass. But that's what that one looks like. And we'll go ahead and try it out. Well, that's pretty much going to wrap up this video for today, guys. I will leave a link in the description for all the parts we used here today, except for the nylon spacers and washers. You'll just have to go to your local hardware store and grab what you need, or just do what I did. Walk in there and just wipe them out, take it all. Then you can go ahead and make yourself a nylon parts kit. You're going to need them for future projects for sure. Now, do I think these upgrades that we did help today? Yes. These skid plates are definitely going to protect the lower part of our axles as well as the lower part of the diff cover. And if they do get hung up on rocks, like I said, I'm a fabricator. I'll take and make another deflector shield a little bit bigger so they don't get hung up. If it doesn't work for some reason, then I'll just take them back off. But I think they're going to help a lot. We'll give it an honest run for the money. I'll go out there and tear it up and we'll see if they do hang up or not. Now, as far as the brass diff cover in the front, how can you go wrong with adding more weight down low in the front? That's only going to help us from flipping over backwards when we're crawling up them steep inclines. Now, don't forget, we also took the 1338 overdrive gears out of the rear axle and went back to the stock 1243. So that's going to make these rear tires spin slower than the front. That is also going to help us from flipping over backwards on some of them steep inclines. Now, guys, this is not it for this truck by any means. I know we're on video number 8, but there is a lot more to go. I mean, I have got a whole handful of links here. I've got Vitavon, I've got Samix, I got some Terrell coming. We're going to try them all and see what works the best. I've got steel drive shafts from Vitavon. We've got a 2,000-ounce servo from Power Hobby we're going to use for a winch in the front. We'll go ahead and mount that up on some Vitavon bumpers I've got. Our next video we're going to do is going to be a Vitavon aluminum skid plate. I figure we're putting so many parts on this. Let's go ahead and get this on here, because otherwise I got to take all them parts we're putting on back off to get this on. So we'll get that done here right now. Besides that, man, we have got shocks. I have got an aluminum transmission case for all the gears. We've got a Monster X8S ESC here, and I went ahead and bought the Bluetooth module with that so we can adjust all the settings from our phone. I mean, guys, this is just getting started. Here's an anti-sway bar for the rear. I mean, I have got a lot more than what I just showed you. We're not done, and I'm not done ordering parts for this either. This is just some of the stuff I have here. I've got a lot more. I don't know how many videos this is going to make up for this build series, but this thing is going to be decked out with whatever I can find that fits this. We're going to throw it on here. I'm going to show you how to install it. I'm going to go test it out. I'm going to let you guys know what I think so you can figure out if you want one or not. Guys, it is a nice day here today. We had some snow last weekend, but it looked like it cleared up a little bit. It's nice and warm. I'm going to go out there and get some footage of me running this around and tearing it up in some nasty, beautiful places. I don't know if those two words go together or not, but I'm talking about nasty rocks in a beautiful scenery setting. So if you guys are interested in seeing me crawl around a little bit more than what you've just seen, stay tuned. Keep watching. I'll get you as much video as I can so we can see if I'm going to get hung up on the rocks or how well this brass diff cover works when we're climbing up steep hills. Guys, I am Travis. You're watching Upgraded RC. Until the next video, which is just right around the corner, peace out!